Hello. Hello, everyone. Okay. Did you get stuck partway on your trip? Sorry to hear that. Hello, Brooke. Welcome to the chat. Well done. Shell's got all the cheeses. Sounds like Kay's got all the cheeses as well. And was it Kay? Was that you who texted me before Kay? No, it was Karen. Karen and Peter have got all the cheeses. Craig's got all the cheeses. So I think we're all cheesed up. Very cheesy. Hello, Cotty. It is worth doing the decanting thing versus the bottle thing, even if your wine was not in the fridge all day, because decanting is going to do something different, not just warm it up. Hello, Michael. Welcome back. Sorry to hear you're not travelling. Good to have you with us. Glad we could get you some wine. Wow, look at you all chatty. Yeah. Okay. Oh, dinner plane. Nice. Excellent. Wow, it sounds everyone's having a lovely time. Hello, Rob and Deb. Hello. Hello. Who else haven't I said hello to? Oh, Michael, I was wondering about your sense of smell because when you got in contact and said, could you get some wine, I thought, oh, he must not have that side effect, but you do. That's bad luck. Anyway, at least it will help to dull the pain of not travelling a little bit. Congratulations to all of our photo winners. Hello, Emily and Kevin. Lovely to see you. We missed you. Hello, Nina. Hello, Anne. All got some cheeses, no washed rind. That's fine. I've got some Gruyere and I've got some washed rind, but I don't have the others because I wasn't very well organised. I'm blaming vintage again. Yes, so hello, Peter. How you going? G'day, Nareem. How are you? And Keely. Yeah, wine. Okay, so because we're going to do some decanting, there's yay, exactly. Oh, John, don't wait for him, Cotty. No, the wine might go off anyway. You just need to get it organised and he can join in when he's ready. If you sit around waiting for people to be ready to start, then then you'd be waiting forever. I speak from bitter experience. The photos were fabulous, weren't they, Michael? And it was very hard choosing the winners, and there were lots of runners up, and I could have put lots of other photos up, but I thought you might never find the link if I put all the photos up. So we might show them off over the next few weeks. But yeah, they were lovely. So thank you, everyone. I wish I had 30 t-shirts to give out, but we had to be really tough. So anyway, well done, winners. Tonight we're going to look. Mine's nice and cold because I forgot to take it out of the fridge until 5 minutes ago. Devil Ben Creek Chardonnay, 2021. This is a real new release. So this was bottled just prior to Christmas. Oh wow, Michael. So Michael, did you? So you came back and then you were supposed to go away again, or you? Anyway, doesn't matter. Welcome home. Glad you could be home to be sick. It's much better to be sick at home. So I just clean the fog off my bottle. So let's get some Chardonnay in our glass, and then we can have a little taste, and then we can have a big chat. Hello, Daryl and Sue. Lovely to see you. One of the reasons, and I don't know if any of you have noticed that we've actually got this wine in a new lighter weight bottle. So you'll notice it's easier to lift up, and when the bottle's empty, it's almost half the weight of our previous bottles. So quite exciting, very good, much better for the environment. So it's something that we've been working towards for a while. 2021 is the first year, so the 2021 Devil Ben Creek Chardonnay is the first wine to see the lightweight bottles. Hurrah! Okay, let's get this wine open because I would like to do. I've got 2 glasses, and I'm using the Sangiovese glasses today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour a glass straight into the glass, and you can join in. So there's my glass of Chardonnay, straight from the glass. Smells pretty good. Then I'm going to get my decanter, and I'm going to slosh it in the decanter. So we're going to do quite a quick, brisk decant, because we want to get some air into it. So it's not so much about warming it up, it's about getting air into the wine, which is why Cotty, said it's still worth playing around with the decanter and the wine to see how it changes. So I'm going to try and do this briskly and aggressively, but without getting it all over my computer. So wish me luck. Okay, I'll get it in the neck of the decanter. And then you just turn it right upside down. See how it's all kind of bubbling up? That's really good because we're getting all the air in it. You don't want to do that with an old red wine because the point of decanting old red wine is to get it off the sediment. But something like, thank you, Michael, something really good to do to very young white wine is to slosh it in the decanter like that. Then you can even give it a bit of a swirl to get some more air in. I just realised that I haven't poured Dad a non-decanted glass, so let's hope this decanting makes it smell and taste even better. And then in my second glass, I'm going to put my decanted wine. Try not to get them mixed up. So now I've got 2 glasses of wine. Bonus. So, young Chardonnay, very young Chardonnay. Devil Bean Creek Chardonnay is a wine that doesn't see any new oak from us. It is fermented in old oak still, and it's hello Jeff, welcome. We've just decanted the wine, so I've got 1 glass undecanted. Hello Alison and Andrew, lovely to see you. So I just recap. I've poured 1 glass straight from the bottle, and then I decanted the rest of the bottle into a decanter quite roughly to get lots of air in, gave it a swirl around, and then I've poured another glass of wine that's been decanted. And it's made a huge difference to the nose of the wine. So if you're playing around with me, do it and get your nose into the 2 glasses and compare and contrast because it's really cool. So the undecanted wine for me has kind of a slightly sharp estery character to it, which I see in all young Chardonnay. So it's not something special about not something special about Moorooduc. But when Chardonnay's young, it smells a little bit like lolly bananas. It smells kind of lifted. It's got this kind of hard, kind of almost kind of confectionery kind of smell to it. There's a lemon sherbety character. It'll soften up as it opens up in the glass. But as Cotty's just pointed out, decanting it softens the nose straight away, and it goes from that kind of hard estery kind of a lolly banana smell, which I like to wait until my Chardonnay's kind of moved past that stage personally, to much more sort of soft lemon fruit. There's a little bit of grapefruit there. You lose all that banana-iness. It's really weird. Sorry, Michael, this is going to be about the nose of the wine. So just have another sip and just let it wash over. On the palate, let's see if the palate tastes different as well. So tasting the first one. It's really crisp. It's got a real kind of almost a lemon sherbet kind of a flavour to it. It's got a little bit of a sort of slightly peachy or nectarine character, but it's quite closed, quite fine, fresh. Mine's quite cold as well, so that's also adding to the freshness. And on the palate of the wine that we've decanted, again, it's softened out, it's broadened out a little bit, so it's not quite as linear, it's not quite as directional on the palate as the first wine, but it's a bit softer around the edges, and you get a little bit more of that peachiness, less of the sort of the lemon sherbet, more lemon juice. So again, it's opening up and revealing itself a little bit more, which is pretty cool. Craig, it's funny because I hate lolly bananas. So it's one of those things that I see it in wine and I'm like, I want that smell to go away. And I see it in young Chardonnay and I know that it will go away with a little bit of age, which is probably one of the reasons that we hold our Chardonnay, our estate Chardonnay and our single vineyard Chardonnay back for a year or so before we release it, because it just, you get rid of that those esters, and they're yeast esters. So they come off when the wine's fermenting, the yeasts create these kind of lifted aromatics that have nothing to do with the fruit of the wine. And so a lot of the time people go, oh, what grape variety gives you that lolly banana character? It's like, no, that's a character that comes from yeast. And you get it even more. Oh, there's Polly. Hi, Paul. trying to look over my shoulder. Frodo's, he was on the other sofa, but he's gone now. Those lolly banana esters kind of come up more in wines that have had laboratory bought yeast, but we still see them in our wild ferment. So isn't that cool? How cool is that? So Kay said first close, white peach definitely in the second. Yeah, it makes a huge difference. The cabin kettle. Fantastic. Well, you don't need a fancy decanter. This is a nice little decanter. It's just sort of entry level. It is from Riedel, but it's their kind of entry level range. I think they cost about $50 or $80 a pop, but you don't need that. You're just a jug or a kettle or anything that's big enough to hold 750 mils of wine and clean. That's all you need. All you need is a receptacle. So you could even use another wine bottle. It's just hard to pour from the neck, from the mouth of one wine bottle into another wine bottle. I tend to spill it. Not everyone would maybe tend to spill it, but I do. Hello, Penny, you're back. How awesome to see you. Well, I know life is getting busy. There's lots of other options, but I'm always here, and I'm always here on YouTube. You can dogs. Can you shut up? Goodness me. Everyone's getting very slack around here. Jill and Richard just wander off. They don't stay to look after the dogs and tell them to be quiet. So we're just going to have to put up with them barking. Michael, you can taste the Barney banana ester. Yeah, absolutely. So it's funny because I don't like banana lollies, but I used to love Barney banana ice cream. So go figure. I'm a complex woman, complex child, complex woman. And remember from the Turner Road poll in Moorabbin where the 1 cent banana sweet with a treat. Oh, that's nice. What were you thinking, Alison? MTC on a Thursday? You know the Drinks with Kate's on a Thursday. I'm an emoji. Hello, Sam. Hello, Francesca and Sophia. Lovely to see you. Sorry Paul's away, but it sounds like you've replaced him with quality, so that's nice. Daisy wants to talk to Polly now. That was actually Frodo who started the barking today. Usually it's Polly, but Frodo's a bit funny today. He's back on his sofa now. You can't really see. He's black on black. It's a bit tricky. But anyway, Penny, yeah, half bottles are good for decanting, absolutely. And then you've kind of got the double advantage that you maybe don't drink the whole bottle straight away, and then you feel better the next day. So even with no smell, the banana Turner Road pool. I had a feeling that you might have been talking about a pool. I used to, when I went on my swimming lessons, they used to give us those little chewy white lollies that were covered in hundreds. I don't even know what they were, but they were kind of vanilla flavoured, chewy, hundreds and thousands. They were tiny, so they were probably really cheap. But, you know, when you've had a good swimming lesson, a lolly's a good thing to have. I must say I really prefer the wine that we decanted compared to the one that was poured straight from the bottle. And it's something that I discovered a long time ago, even with really cheap wine, cheap young wine, decanting, getting some air in the wine quickly will really help the wine express itself to its fullest as a young wine. It's not, when it's a young wine, giving it that quick kind of vigorous decant is not going to spoil the wine for you. It's just going to move it forward a little bit. And I think that wines like this, when they're so young, 2021, it's just a year old. So we're in 2022 vintage. Whiz Fizz also, we had Whiz Fizz at Shepparton Pool because my mum's from Shepparton. So we used to go up to Shepparton for school holidays and we'd go to the Shepparton Pool in summer. It was very cool. And we'd have Whiz Fizz and Chopper Chops. So that's about as exciting as it can get for a kid. But yeah, that peach is coming up so beautifully now, and we can now have some cheese. I'm sure you've all been tucking into your cheese from for about the last half an hour, but I'm going to have some cheese. As I said, I've got Gruyere, and I've got a wash dry cheese Taleggio from Italy. I tried to find. I was meant to get some goat cheese on my way to work this morning, but got caught up and was running late and forgot. So if you've got goat cheese or blue cheese, leave them aside for the moment. Let's try something that we know is going to work really well. So go for if you've got a Gruyere or something like that. So sort of a hard cow's milk cheese. Gruyere's fantastic with Chardonnay. It's even better with old complex Chardonnay than young fruity Chardonnay, but it's pretty good with young fruity Chardonnay too. So Gruyere, it's a cow's milk cheese, it's a hard cheese, and it's got these lovely, good Gruyere has these lovely little salt crystals through it. So it's really smooth and creamy and almost caramelly, but it's got these little crunchy salt bits through it as well. So it's a bit of a textural delight as well as a flavour delight. Robin Deb is saying the Comté is working nicely. Of course, not good to talk when you've just put a piece of cheese in your mouth, but anyway. Yeah. It's really good. The wine actually brings out the acid in the cheese. And cheese has that lovely lactic acid character. Nice and tangy. And we went wine tasting on the weekend, and the som at the winery said, whatever you do, don't taste shardy with cheese. Well, Craig, did you say, I'm terribly sorry, but we have to leave because you obviously don't know what you're talking about. Chardonnay and cheese are fantastic. You've just got to get the right cheese. So Gruyere is great. The other thing I like to do is kind of chew the cheese and smell the wine at the same time. So you get the smell of the wine kind of rolling over the flavour of the cheese, and it's quite a lovely combination. So you don't need to put the cheese and the wine in your mouth all at the same time to get a joyous experience. You can and you will get a joyous experience if you do that. But even that chewing a bit of cheese, smelling the wine, it just kind of layers up the aromas and the flavors really nicely, and it changes the aromas of the wine and it changes the flavor of the cheese. So vegan feta, fantastic, Emily. Well, Kevin, it's just, yeah, Kevin knew what he was getting into. So good. So Kay likes the second with the cheddar. Okay. So the decanted wine with cheddar, yep. And I do think the decanted wine will go better with the cheese than the non-decanted wine, because the non-decanted wine's a little bit more banana lolly-ish. No Gruyere. Triple Brie will be fantastic. If anyone's got, so try it with your Brie or with your washed dry cheese now. Someone said that Taleggio is working really well for them. Who said that? Brooke is enjoying the Taleggio. I love Taleggio with Chardonnay. I think it's Taleggio is great because it's washed dry, so it's got a bit of stink to it, but it's not too stinky. It's pretty delicious, and it's even more delicious with Chardonnay. If I had a nice big piece of fresh, crusty sourdough, I'd be in heaven. But cheese bites are banana cheese, Michael. I think that you're having COVID fevers now. Taleggio. So, to my mind, I love the Taleggio. I love the Chardonnay. But for me, my Taleggio is quite a strong washed rind, and Peter and Karen have just said strong washed rind's not good. It kind of overwhelms the Chardonnay, so it doesn't bring up those lovely Chardonnay flavours like the Gruyere does. It's delicious, but it probably needs, the Taleggio would probably be even better with a Pinot Gris with a little bit of age on it. So we might come back and do this exercise again with an older Pinot Gris down the track. Yeah, So Brooks just mentioned that she's got a goat's blue, which fantastic. Good on you. You've gone blue and goat's cheese. So the reason that will be a delicious, delicious cheese. Jill's playing music in the background, which is why I'm giving her an evil look. And she's looking very guilty. She didn't mean to. Sorry, everyone. She turned it off really quickly though, which was good. And she had the good grace to look embarrassed. So, Craig, you should never be intimidated by full-on soms from the Yarra. That's ridiculous. Anyway, yes, Nareem, if you leave the undecanted wine in the glass for about 20 minutes and give it a bit of a swirl even, it will work really, really well. It will come back up to where the decanted wine is. We've just sped up the process with the decanted wine. Gosh, everyone's talking now. It's very exciting. Goat's blue cheese that Brooke's got is a beautiful cheese, not great with Chardonnay. Now, you're saying, Brooke, that you like it with champagne. I really like a goat's cheese and a blue cheese with a sweet wine like a Sauterne or a sweet Loire white, or even a vintage port works very well with blue cheese. So it's pretty awesome. Yes, Penny, that's correct. If you want to keep the half bottle, so Penny's saying that she's remembering that I said it would be okay to decant the half bottle into a decanter and then pour that into the half bottle. So that's if you've got something in your half bottle that you want to drink and you want to put half of another bottle of wine into the half bottle to keep. So that's what you pour what was in the half bottle into the decanter and then decant what you freshly opened into the half bottle, close that up, put that away, and that'll last for another week or so. But then you've got a whole bottle of wine to drink, but it might be two different wines and you might have a couple of friends over. So that could work really well. You don't need to decant half a bottle into the decanter and then put it into the half bottle, because that's kind of the point of decanting. The point of putting half a full bottle of wine into a half bottle is to keep it as fresh as you can for longer. So you're wanting to avoid getting oxygen in the wine. And the point of the rough decant that I just gave to that Chardonnay is to get more oxygen into the wine. So it's the two different ends of the spectrum that we're trying to get more oxygen into the young wine that we want to drink now, but we're putting half of the bottle into a half bottle before we decant it and putting it away because we don't want oxygen in that wine that we've put in the half bottle. So we're filling it all the way up to the top, so there's no ullage, so there's no oxygen in contact with that wine. So that means that the wine is almost as good as it would have been if you'd just left it in the bottle unopened from the beginning. But you've got half a bottle of wine to drink and half a bottle of wine to put away. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I over-explained that. Creme fraiche with bubbles is delicious, lovely and creamy with Prosecco. Absolutely, Nareem. But I think Goat's Blue, it can be terrific with champagne. And the point with goat's cheese and blue cheese, both of them, goat's cheese has a lot of acid. So that acid will fight with Chardonnay. Chardonnay's got good acid too, but it'll fight with the other flavours and it'll make the Chardonnay taste bitter. Blue cheese, the blue mould is already a bit bitter. So that's why you'd match it with, say, a sweet wine or even a champagne that's got some dosage, which a little bit of sugar, because the sweetness sort of counteracts the bitterness and the sharpness of a blue cheese. So if you've got a goat's blue cheese, then you're doubling up on the things that are not going to work with Chardonnay. So a very interesting experiment. Craig, hang on, did I miss anything? Reggie's around, Michael. It's too sunny for him to go to bed yet. He's in the courtyard, but he's sulking because we put him in the courtyard quite early. He's out again. Richard let him out again. He's out wandering, having a lovely time in the autumn sunshine. Craig, what do you class as young wine? So for us, 2021. 2021 is 12 months old from when it was picked. So that's really young wine. But a lot of white wines will be released as 2021. We've sold through our Devil Bean. We've got a huge problem here that we don't have enough Chardonnay. We can't get enough Chardonnay. Our Chardonnay vines over the last few years have cropped quite low, which has been great for quality, but not so great for quantity. And it means that we're making a lot less Chardonnay than maybe we would ideally like to. And Devil Bean Creek Chardonnay is the one that has suffered the most. Ideally, we could sell sort of 1,000 to 2,000 cases of Devil Bean Creek Chardonnay if we could get the appropriate quality fruit and make the wine. But at the moment, we're making maybe 400 cases of Devil Bean Creek Chardonnay. So it kind of goes through quite quickly, and we get to the end of one vintage and we move on to the next one. So it's a bit of a problem. So Craig's saying they're struggling for Shardy and the Hunter as well. And it's a problem that has come from the anti-Chardonnay movement that we had in Australia about 10, 12 years ago. That a lot of people just said, we don't want to drink Chardonnay anymore. We're drinking New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, or we're drinking Pinot Gris or whatever. And a lot of people pulled Chardonnay out, and people certainly didn't plant more Chardonnay because it was really hard to sell for a few years. And now, 10, 12 years on, it's Chardonnay's become popular again, but there's not as much out there. So it is a bit of a problem, but it's I'd rather make not enough really delicious Chardonnay than too much disappointing Chardonnay. So it's a better balance. Craig's asking about Hunter. So Hunter Semillon is often released really young. Most of it doesn't really look great, as Alison's pointing out, until it's sort of 20 years old, because it needs, the traditional Hunter Semillons need that really long aging. Nareem suggested waiting 5 years or so to drink it, Craig. And if you've got a nice cellar, then absolutely buy a few cases, put it in the cellar, and don't touch it for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. But, if you're buying wine that you want to drink today, then I think you could give it a go decanting your young Hunter Semillon. It won't change as much as this Chardonnay, because Hunter Semillon is narrower and lighter and more acidic than our Chardonnay when it's young. But it's a great variety that really needs age in the bottle. That said, Craig's also pointed out that they pulled out 50-year-old Semillon vines to plant Chardonnay. It is sacrilege, because it's too warm and humid in the Hunter to make really good Chardonnay, I think, unless you're in a very special site. There's a few people who make good Chardonnay. Tyrrell's makes quite a nice one. But a lot of the Chardonnays from Hunter are either picked too early, so they don't have enough flavour, or they're picked too late and they're too blousy. So Semillon as a white variety works much better in that region. Other people are saying, Peter and Karen are saying that's okay with a white mould soft goat's cheese. Oh, good, excellent. I think depending on how the goat's cheese has been made and how old it is, a softer style that's got slightly softer acidity could work all right with the wine. But a lot of people say don't drink goat's cheese with Sauvignon Blanc. And I would agree with that only if it's Botrytis Sauvignon Blanc from Sauterne, because as you know, I'm not a huge fan of Sauvignon Blanc. And I actually I think that it's a bit too sharp. I think the dry wine from, say, New Zealand or Australia is a bit too sharp for goat's cheese as well. Brooke, Bleu de Chèvre Auvergne. Oh, that's very traditional. How delicious. Sounds yum. You need a little bit of sweet wine to go with it, maybe. Michael, European production was atrocious last year. Yes. So European production last vintage was really tough because they had lots of frosts and pretty terrible weather in the. Yes, John, you can pour your undecanted glass into the decanter. And it does, yes, it does work on young Pinot as well. Sorry, important for someone who's trying to get a drink. So yeah, Michael, vintages seem to be getting more difficult everywhere in the world, and we've had a few years recently that have been pretty tricky. And I think global warming is an ongoing problem, and we're going to have more issues in the future. But in Europe, it was frost in springtime that was a problem. Here, it was rain and wind during flowering and fruit set, also in springtime. So we're having sort of very unsteady weather at the time when the vines need the weather to be steady and clear and sunny. And that's making it difficult. So I don't know where the Aussie last year the Aussie harvest was up, Michael, but this year, as far as I know, everyone that I've spoken to from sort of Adelaide Hills and McLaren Vale through to everywhere in Victoria that I've talked to are having pretty small crops. Yeah, I think it's the big storm at the beginning of November, Dad's interjecting with, and that made it a very difficult year for a lot of people. And there's been a lot of rain in central Victoria. Let's not even talk about the rain that you guys have been having in New South Wales and Queensland. I hope things are starting to settle down again there. I've been hearing amazing stories about flooding and the humidity creating a lot of mold. So doesn't sound like a lot of fun up there at the moment. Oh, that's interesting. Craig's saying that some hunter wineries have had a double vintage this year, like 15 tonnes compared to 7 last year. So I don't really know what was going on there. But yeah, I think sometimes in a year where if you get too high a crop, then you can get sort of less quality because it's harder for the vines to ripen bigger crops. So you need to have a really good ripening year as well, which I'm not sure whether they have had. I mean, Hunter vintage was over in January, and the rain that the major rain that you guys have got has been in sort of February, March, hasn't it? So maybe they avoided the difficult weather, and they're all kind of snug in their wineries now. I think it's probably quite tricky for a lot of people though. Emily is asking, is the Flinders Pinot and Peers event worth attending? That's this weekend. Yeah, it's fun. We used to do it. We don't do it anymore. It's a bit of a busy time for us being vintage, and we've got a small team, and we decided that it's not worth sending one of our team members elsewhere for the day. But yeah, it's quite fun. If the weather's nice, Emily, it's a beautiful day. There's lots of tasting. Some people get a bit pissed, but that's what happens at these tastings. Apparently my connection's unstable, so hopefully you guys can still hear me. I'm getting a little message at the top of my screen, so I guess you'll start telling me through the chat if you've lost me. I'm going to keep talking until you do. The Flinders Peers and Pinot event is lovely, and there's usually some pretty good wine there. I'd go early and leave early would be my recommendation. Craig, good question about Pinot. We are not doing Pinot Palooza this year. It's got a bit big for us. The dates don't suit me, and it's usually me that goes. So yeah, I don't think we will be doing Pinot Palooza this year, but we've decided and it's quite expensive. It's quite expensive to be part of it. But we've decided, instead of doing Pinot Palooza, we thought we'd throw that money that we'd usually throw at Pinot Palooza at doing a special Moorooduc event in Sydney and one in Brisbane, as well as what we're doing in Melbourne on the Mornington Peninsula as well. So as I think I've mentioned to you guys a couple of times already, we're celebrating 40 years of Mum and Dad buying this property this year. So it's a special year for us. We just thought that we would just keep all of our resources for spending on Moorooduc only events. So hopefully that will suit you guys. I'm in conversation with our guys in Brisbane, and it looks like I'll probably be going up there in late May. And our guys in Sydney, it looks like probably June or July, but I haven't got any dates in the book yet with them. Watch this space. We release our single vineyard Pinots in late May, early June here, and so having the opportunity to have celebrations to show off those wines around the place as well would be awesome. So yeah, we will definitely make sure that you are very aware when I'm coming into town, and the events that we do, as I say, we won't do Pinot Palooza this year. We may very well do it again next year. We're just sort of taking a break and making the most of our opportunity to travel to do Moorooduc only stuff, and hoping that we've got enough people who are interested in just tasting Moorooduc and not all the other Pinots at Pinot Palooza that you'll come along to Moorooduc events. So that's the plan. And we're very happy to celebrate with you too, Craig. So I'm getting more messages that my connection's unstable again. I don't know why. Yes, Michael, I agree. Travel again will be fun, and I am watching out. I've got I'm just working on a little plan to maybe go to the UK and Italy in late September or early October. Who knows what will be happening by then, but until then, I'm going to do some travel around Australia and do some stuff with people who I have missed seeing and who I really need to see. So yeah, in particular, my friends and customers in New South Wales and in Queensland, and then we'll take it from there. I then also have to, have the whole of August off to celebrate my very important birthday, which you haven't heard about at all yet. I'm going to stop talking about it now because it's very boring. But yeah, so we're up. Excellent, Craig. I'm glad to hear that despite your instability, you're good. It would absolutely, Michael, I really don't want to lose my sense of smell. It's the thing that I'm most worried about, traveling and catching COVID. And as people have pointed out, I think we're all feel a bit complacent about Omicron being a bit safer. But I've got a few friends who have had Omicron and who have still had a bit of it's had a bit of an effect on their sense of smell and taste, at least in the short to medium term. So I'd prefer to avoid it if possible. But, can't just not do anything in life to avoid it either. So balance, and I will take care is my plan. Rob and Deb, can I reflect on this compared to the 2020 upon release? So Rob and Deb are saying that they're remembering that it had more citrusiness in the 2020. Yes, Emily and Kevin, yes, 1972 babies do rock. We're awesome. Yeah, that's right, Alison. I've got friends also who have no smell at all post-Omicron. And Brooke, yeah, you lost taste for 5 days. And Laura, yes, thank you for reminding people. Pine nuts from China can also stuff up your sense of smell and taste. So it's all very difficult. Rob and Deb, so first of all, we've released the 2021 earlier than we released the 2020. So it's not quite as ready to go as the 2020 was, perhaps. It's got more of that esteriness from it. And really, a lot of people found 2020 to be a more difficult vintage than 2021. 2021 was actually really lovely quality fruit, really lovely flavours. So I think the 2020 was maybe slightly more citrusy. This is maybe a little bit more peachy in its expression. So yeah, and no, it's not on the website yet, Alison, because we've just released it. So we've sold a little bit to our distributors in Melbourne, and we're not even selling it at Celador yet. So you guys are getting a little preview, and we'll get, hey, Jeff, can you get it on the website ASAP, please, if you're still watching? No, next week, when Jeff's back, maybe on the weekend, if he's not too busy, or next week, he'll get that up on the website. I'll probably need to write a tasting note. We've also got, we're changing vintage with the Estate Chardonnay. We're moving on to the 2019. And the Pinot Gris on skins. As I said to you before, we've just about sold out of the 2020 Pinot Gris on skins. So we'll be looking at the 2021 Pinot Gris on skins really soon as well. That brings me to our new box of wine for our next round of Drinks with Kate, which we're coming to the end of this box. This is wine 5, so next week wine 6, a little Pinot Noir to finish up with. And then the next box will start in a couple of weeks. So we usually have a week or two off in between boxes. We'll talk about, a cocktail at some stage, and then we'll get ourselves organised. But the new box, Brooke, will be released early next week. So I've got the wines all sorted out. We're going to have a little guest wine from Italy, a Pinot Grigio, and we'll taste that up against a Moorooduc Estate Pinot Gris. So that'll be fun. So yeah, keep an eye out. Michael, stop it. Banana's not a good thing. It's funny you should say that. I know what you mean. For me, there is some nice, it's almost like kumquats rather than lemons though, the citrus. It's quite a lot riper than the 2020 was, I think, fruit-wise. It's got that kind of real fuzzy white peach kind of a smell to it as well. It's drinking really beautifully right now. I'm hoping that it's going really well with your cheese as well. Now, I've done it again. I meant to look up what you should be able to work it out because it's the last one in the box. I know it's a Pinot Noir. I can't remember which one it is. Can anyone tell me? Jeff, can you tell me? Jeff, are you there? He's been very quiet. Jeff's been very quiet. I think he just kind of logged on and said hi and then disappeared back to his party that he's at or something. So let me just have a look. Moorooduc Wine Shop, Moorooduc Estate Home. Sorry, this is very boring for you, so just talk amongst yourselves. Robinson. Oh, see, everyone's doing it for me already. Robinson Pinot next week, which will be awesome. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Got it. Hello, Renee. Hey. It's not Renee. It's Nigel. You're back. You're here. Every time you pop up, I'm like, oh, Renee. And it's like, oh, no, it's Nigel. Excellent. So Robinson Pinot next week. I know I think Jeff's gone. He's left us. He was obviously having too much fun. Just logged in at the beginning to make us think he was here. It's a rookie trick. So Robinson Pinot next week. I hope you had fun with your. Now that you've emptied your bottle, you can really see how light that is. It's a slightly different shape from the old bottle as well, but we really like it. So I hope that it doesn't upset anybody. As Michael said before, it's fantastic because it's better for the environment. Also, the bottles are made locally, so we're not shipping them from other parts of the world, which is really exciting. Having a Gruyere, he probably is having his little Gruyere coma with his Chardonnay. But yes, the lightweight bottles, all of our wine eventually will be in the lightweight bottle from 2021 for the estate wine and the Devil Bend Creek wines, and then 2022 for the single vineyard wines because we had to use up some old bottles that we had for the single vineyard wines. So very exciting times. Probably by the time we've got everything in lightweight bottles out in the market, I'll hopefully be driving an electric car as well. So there's something to aim for. Enjoy your cheese. Enjoy the rest of your Chardonnay. I'm going to sign off now. I know we haven't gone all the way into the 50-minute mark, but I think that we've had a lovely chat tonight. It's been fun. Craig, the glass is a little less expensive, so we can put more money into making the best wine that we possibly can. How's that for a good marketing spin? Yeah, the glass is a little bit less expensive. But yeah, it means we can concentrate more on the wine, which I think is great. Any more questions? Get them in quickly. I'm going to go. Thank you very much, everyone. Oh, you are not, Jeff. You've just come back. Good night, everyone. Have a lovely evening. 2 glasses of Chardonnay to finish off. I'll be careful out there as well. Anyone on the Mornington Peninsula, there's a lot of booze buses out there at the moment, so don't drink and drive. Being very grown up now. And I'll see you all again next week. If you're a T-shirt winner, it's on its way. I know Shell's already got hers. Craig, yours is in the mail. It's not quite, but it will be soon. Very glad that your friends enjoyed, Samantha, and we'll see you all again next week. Ciao, everyone.